with Judge Ross.
Well, Your Honor,
You want me
it's
to
the
punish
principle.
these nuns
It's the
to the
principle,
tune
Your
of
Honor.
over $8,000?
Because they misrepresented, Your Honor. Just because they're nuns doesn't mean they're allowed to misrepresent to the public. They're not allowed to do that. And on top of it, Your Honor, I called the Catholic Archdiocese. They have never heard of them.
In my courtroom, it's about equity and fairness. You want him to pay $628?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, knock my socks off. Justice should be more than just some foreign concept. I actually want you to learn something. The law talks about something may in fact be true, but can they prove it? And that's what's tough.
Fair, firm, compassionate. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. Hannah Zalewski is suing Sister Christina and Sister Patricia in the amount of $10,000. Ms. Zalewski claims Sister Christina and Sister Patricia sold her a fake piece of art. Sister Christina and Sister Patricia claim they had no idea the artwork was fake because it was donated to them for their charity auction.
All rise, remain standing and come to order. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Kevin Ross presiding.
Ladies and gentlemen, you may be seated.
All parties have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Deputy Thomas. Okay, Ms. Zalewski, you feel as though the sisters here, Sister Christina and Sister Patricia, correct?
Sister Patricia, Your Honor.
You're Sister Patricia.
Yes.
Sister Christina.
You're Sister Christina. You're suing them
Yes, Your Honor.
for $10,000, and you're alleging that they were fraudulent in their activities.
Yes, Your Honor.
Prove your case.
Your Honor, this case is a simple case of fraud because I went to a charity auction that these sisters put on, and they were selling different items.
Yes.
I received a ticket from a friend of mine, so I figured, oh, this is on the up and up, and so I'll go to this auction. And as a charitable person, I like to go and help out charities.
And what was being auctioned, Sister Christina? What was being auctioned?
It was a artwork, and it was a dolly.
It was a dolly.
Yes, a very famous artwork.
Oh, the artwork was by the artist Dolly?
Yes.
All right. And were there other artists' work also being auctioned?
There were, Your Honor, there were other types of artworks that were being
Was
auctioned.
it all art, Sister Patricia?
No, we had various items of things. So all of our artwork started at a certain price,
Which was
$100.
$100.
Yes.
And then you were obviously trying to get as much as possible.
That is correct.
And all the artwork was donated by the artists?
No, all of the artwork and all items were donated by various people.
So in other words, this person who may have donated to you owned the work and then said, I will give this to you all to auction to raise money.
Yes.
All right. And you are an art connoisseur. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it's kind of fair to say, Your Honor.
Were you familiar with the artist whose work you bid on?
Yes, I'm a big fan of Salvador Dali. I'd even been to the St. Petersburg Museum where they help carry his work. So
Okay.
when I saw this on the table, along with a certificate
I'll
of
take a look at that. And then whatever else you have. Let's see.
All right, for it. Thank you.
along with the certificate of authenticity, I was very excited to see it because basically, Your Honor, the rest of the stuff was junk.
Well, hold on a moment. One man's junk is another man's treasure, right?
This
and
is
art
true.
is very subjective. And obviously somebody had to work and someone felt it was a value, and at some point they gave it away because they hoped someone else would appreciate it. This was the actual work in question.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. The artist also provided a certificate of authenticity.
That is correct, Your Honor.
And the whole purpose behind having the certificate of authenticity is so the person who is in ownership of the property knows that they have something that's legit.
That is correct. But, Your Honor, when we did receive the items that were donated, that did come as one item, and we did not authenticate anything. We just put it as an item and as an as-is sale. So we had no knowledge if it was real or fake. We just know that it was something that was given to us to provide money for our cause. And when she came, Ms. Zalewski, and purchased the artwork, we were more than privileged and excited that she was willing to help, not to defraud her in any way.
The bidding started at $100, I believe you said.
Yes.
That was for all the items.
That was for all the artwork.
And how many different pieces do you recall, Sister Christina? How many pieces of artwork you sold?
I don't recall exactly. There might have been about 20 pieces.
The two of you have a witness here. Who is this individual? Sir,
Yes.
come on up.
This is our event coordinator, Mr. Sinclair.
Mr. Sinclair, you are the person that put this event together.
I planned the entire thing.
All right, so you would have more knowledge than
Absolutely.
sisters here. Give me some background, please.
Well, first of all, Your Honor, it was a great party for a great cause. The purpose was to raise money for the needy, to feed them. The plaintiff here, if she had simply reviewed the certificate of authenticity, it clearly states that it's a reproduction of a limited edition, and there should be no expectation that it would be worth lots of money. In fact, it even says on the certificate that it was produced quite possibly in front of the original artist, but it may have only been produced in front of the agent.
Ms. Zalewski,
Zalewski, yes, Your Honor.
you gave me this certificate.
Yes.
On the document, it does say, and it's not small print, and it's not at the bottom of the document, it's right here at the top, right?
Yes.
Coming up on America's Court.
Let me explain.
Okay.
Dolly, in order to make money, he did this quite often, where he would have an original lithograph, and then he would run off so many copies, and then
Case of Hannah Zalewski, who is suing Sister Christina and Sister Patricia for fraud and defamation.
That suggests to me that this is not an original piece of art.
let me explain.
Okay.
Dolly, in order to make money, he did this quite often, where he would have an original lithograph, and then he would run off so many copies and then sell those copies. The problem with this is it's not even one of his original copies, so to speak. Lithographs are always done this way, and that's why you'll see 4 of 10 or 50, because
Right.
it will be very limited in the numbers that they will print out, and that is under the artist's direction. In this case, these are not the Dolly lithographs.
Mr. Sinclair, let me go back to you.
Thanks.
This accompanied the artwork.
Absolutely.
It says, this document testifies to the fact that this print associated with this certificate was produced under the supervision of the original artist or agent.
Absolutely, and I have no qualms or dissension about that, Your Honor.
Well, then, how are you interpreting that language?
I'm interpreting it as a reproduction, clearly as...
A reproduction
Yeah.
that the artist himself was okay with.
Oh, yeah, he was okay with it, but...
You're saying that this is not even something that the original artist created.
No, it is not, Your Honor, because I took it to an appraiser,
Okay.
paid $150 for it, by the way.
$150 to have it appraised?
Yes. And it turns out that this is not a part of the original lithograph series. Therefore, it is not worth anything, really.
All right, so you spent $150 to get it appraised.
Yes.
So, ma'am, how much would the actual artwork be worth if you, thinking that you were buying what you were buying, how much would it actually be worth, even a copy of it?
$40,000, Your Honor.
Now, here's what I find. Would you have known that prior to even getting it appraised? You're thinking this is worth a lot of money.
Because of the certificate, Your Honor.
And you think that an item valued at $40,000 would be sold initially for $100?
Your Honor, it's not unusual to go to these sales, estate sales, and find something where the people that are selling it, you know, they may not realize what they have.
But that's not the case here, because you're saying that they said it was a Dolly piece, they offered you the certificate.
Right.
Ultimately, the bidding went from $100 to $1,200.
Bidding didn't go to $1,200. The bidding started at $100 and was raised in $10 increments, which
In
is...
$10 increments.
That was the plan. That's how we do the majority of the items. And the expectation that it would ever get up to $1,200 is absurd. She was...
Well, it's not absurd, because you want as much as possible. How did it get to 1,200?
She went out of her way to basically sabotage it in a way, and she just offered $1,200.
Well,
we took it as a donation.
She's not sabotaging it. She's saying, I really want it. That's what you want. You
We were
want it to
happy
go
with
up.
it. I would like you guys to say that.
Your Honor, we thought that Ms. Zielinski was giving us a generous donation.
How high was the bidding before she said 1,200?
It was $100, Your Honor. And we had a couple of people that signed up, and the most it went to was $130, if I'm not mistaken, that people were adding $10. She approached me, and I went to her, and she asked me about the artwork, and she asked me about the authentication. And what I did was I looked at the paper to make sure that the name was the same as the artwork.
Right.
And then I told her, yes, it is. And she asked me about the price. And I said, it is $100. And she proceeded to go on to want to buy it. That's when Sister Christina came over and made the sale with her. And I went on with the patrons. And after that, we were so grateful.
Because if it just went 100, I bid 110. I bid 120. I bid 130. And then she says, I'll bid 1,200. Just that
No,
leap.
she
just
didn't
like
say that. She said, give it to me for $1,200.
And coming up on America's Court with Judge Ross.
One of my friends says, oh, this is an excellent copy. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she proceeded to tell me, oh, this is just fake. This is just a good copy. And I said, no, this is an original lithograph from Salvador Dali. I actually got it at auction from these Catholic nuns.
We're back with the case of Hannah Zielinski, who is suing Sister Christina and Sister Patricia for fraud and defamation.
110, 120, 130, 1,200.
No, Your Honor, we never actually started the bid. What it was is that she seen the price for the bid, and
I just heard that the bid started at 100, and then it went up in increments of 10. So somebody had to say 110. Somebody had to say 120. Somebody had to say 130.
on the paper that we have, it starts out at 100. So you can, if you see there, you can put your name and put 100, and if I'm interested, I can come and put 110 to try to outbid and
Oh, it
outweigh
wasn't
you.
the type of bidding where you're saying it out loud.
Right, that's
It
correct.
was a silent auction.
Yes, that is correct.
You didn't say that.
And
That's
I
a whole different thing. That's
Yes.
where everyone walks by and goes, where is
Yes.
it right now? And so there were slots,
Yes.
and then all of a sudden you see 1,200.
Yes,
And then that's it,
we closed the bid for that.
because you figured that was a good deal.
That was more than generous.
All right, got it. You found out that it's not even worth anywhere near the $40,000.
Exactly, Your Honor.
You want the benefit of your bargain.
Yes.
And you, I take it, want the $1,200 back
Yes,
because
Your
that's
Honor.
what you bid. But you're asking for $10,000.
Yes, Your Honor. What happened was, after I received the lithograph, I put it in my home, and I had a party with all my friends, people who know me in the community, who respect my opinion. And one of my friends says, oh, this is an excellent copy. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she proceeded to tell me, oh, this is just fake. This is just a good copy. And I said, no, this is an original lithograph from Salvador Dali. I actually got it at auction from these Catholic nuns. And she said, no, this is not. And we got into it. But after that, I decided.
Oh, that's when you went and had it appraised to
Right.
confirm. And the person that told you that,
Right.
why do you need an additional $8,800?
$650, Your Honor, because
Oh, you're counting the
punitive
150
damages.
for the appraisal,
Right.
and then you want punitive damages.
yes, Your Honor.
You want me to award you punitive damages. You want me to punish these nuns.
Coming up on America's Court.
Just because they're nuns doesn't mean they're allowed to misrepresent to the public. They're not allowed to do that. And on top of it, Your Honor, I called the Catholic Archdiocese. They have never heard of them.
Closed captioning provided by. This is America's Court with Judge Ross. We're back with the case of Hannah Zielinski, who is suing Sister Christina and Sister Patricia for fraud and defamation.
Well, Your Honor,
You want me
it's
to
the
punish
principle.
these nuns
It's the
to the
principle,
tune
Your
of
Honor.
over $8,000.
Because
got
they
it.
misrepresented, Your Honor. Just because they're nuns doesn't mean they're allowed to misrepresent to the public. They're not allowed to do that. And on top of it, Your Honor, I called the Catholic Archdiocese. They have never heard of them. And look at the way they're dressed. I mean, you would think they were Catholic nuns.
Can I please speak, Your Honor?
Yes.
She's been assuming since she first started talking, she assumed that we're Catholic and we're actually Protestant nuns. And she assumed that the artwork was real. And all we did was tell her that the paperwork coincides with the artwork. We never specified if the paperwork was authentic itself. We just said, yes, this coincides with what we're selling.
Got it. You can't give someone a certificate of authenticity and then that turns out to not be true. That is misrepresentation. The question is, how much is she entitled to receive back? Clearly, what she thought she was getting that was valued much higher than what it turned out to be, she would be entitled to receive those monies.
Judge Ross's verdict when America's Court returns. You're watching America's Court with Judge Ross. This is America's Court with Judge Ross.
I know the monies probably went for a very good cause, but I think she would be entitled to the $1,200. Is she entitled to the $150? You're not disputing that this is, in fact, not an original. In order for her to confirm that, it would have been reasonable to go get it appraised. $150 is not an unreasonable amount to get something appraised. I think that that's warranted. So that takes us up to $1,350. And the balance of that, am I going to impose some punitive damages on some nuns? That's not going to happen. I don't have any reason to think that they were diabolical. I think it was just an innocent misunderstanding. They clearly are going to have to take that money that otherwise they would be donating or helping people in need. If you choose to, you can still get the tax deductible.
But, Your Honor, I mean...
No, but because here's what... You're not listening. You're winning. All I'm doing is putting you back in the place that you started. You want to go beyond the place that you started. That's not going to happen.
But what's going to prevent her from doing that again?
Sisters,
Yes.
that is the order. She will be paid $1,350.
But, Your Honor, we
Case
gave
closed.
her a tax.
All rise.
Judge Ross has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant is ordered to pay $1,350.
I'm pleased with the judge's ruling, but I still think there should be some sort of punishment for their fraudulent behavior.
We are so disappointed with the judge's ruling.
We don't know how we're going to pay back the money and feed the community.